All right, folks, I have been on the hunt for a good laptop that is easy to travel with, looks great, and has the performance needed to ensure I am never slowed down. My go-to for these needs has always been Apple's MacBook lineup, but not only are you then limited to Mac OS, but if you're gonna be getting the MacBook Air, like this one, you're limited on ports, and so you don't have a lot of connectivity. And if you're gonna go with a MacBook Pro, you'll definitely have more connectivity options, but your wallet's gonna take a little bit of a hit for that. Well, lucky for us, today's sponsors, Lenovo and Intel, have sent out one of their new laptops. And if you're looking for a Windows-based alternative to the MacBook, I think you are going to like today's video. Now, the official name of this laptop is the ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 12, and it's a 14-inch display with several different configurations that range anywhere from around $1,500 upwards of like $3,000 if you get all the custom specs on there. Now, Lenovo approached me with this, and they said I could get whichever one I wanted, and I would have loved to say, yeah, I'll take like the $3,000 model, but instead, I went with the absolute cheapest one here because this is going to be the most realistic purchase for most of you watching. If you want a link to the exact model that you see here in this video, I will drop it down in the description for you. Now, the build quality of this laptop is really good. It's easily one of the lightest laptops I have ever owned. And yes, it is lighter than, noticeably lighter than the 13-inch M2 MacBook Air that I have. And this is light. This is light. It uses a magnesium, aluminum, and carbon fiber chassis. And while I personally have not dropped this to confirm, from my research, the consensus online is that this is a very durable laptop, great for those accidental drops that will probably eventually happen. The design itself is a bit more industrial than something like the MacBook, but in general, I would say, especially for a ThinkPad, they did a really good job at making this thing feel sleek. And I know that ThinkPad styling, it doesn't appeal to everybody. Now, when you're actually typing on this thing, the keyboard has great feedback. It stays extremely quiet, which, I mean, keyboards are something that ThinkPads are known for, so you're gonna get a good experience there. There is that red track point ball. This is a signature ThinkPad feature, though some, myself included, may find this thing a bit outdated in terms of style. I'm not a big fan of it. I never use it. The arrow keys as well feel a little bit cramped in my personal opinion. And yes, it does have a backlit keyboard, which you can kind of see in this video. And to activate it, you have to hit that function key and then the space bar. And you only have two options. It's like dim, a little bit brighter, and off. So it's enough to let you see the keyboard at night, but you know, nothing that's like super exciting to look at. The trackpad itself is great, but I wish they didn't have these physical buttons at the top and instead just use the full space for the trackpad. Also worth noting, this does have a fingerprint button, so you just press that and you can use that for logging in, verifying purchases, anything that requires authentication. The display itself is a 1920 by 1200 resolution, and it's on an IPS display. It's not a touchscreen, but it does have anti-glare and anti-reflection, which is insanely good. I mean, you might see a little bit like kind of fuzzing around, but if you were to see behind me, we have got some freaking bright lights on this thing. It's night and day different compared to the other screens that I have tested it against. So the anti-glare is no joke on this thing. It uses an Intel Core Ultra 5 CPU. It's got 16 gigs of snappy RAM, and while the storage isn't as big as I would like it to be, it's 512 gigabytes. This should be more than enough for most people since you aren't really buying this for gaming, right? Now, a lot of times with laptops this light, they tend to cut out a lot of ports, but Lenovo has a good selection of ports on this. You've got two USB-C / Thunderbolt 4 ports. Why is that such a tongue twister? You've got two USB-A ports, one HDMI, and an audio jack. And if you plan on listening to a lot of music or watching a lot of movies on this, you are going to love the sound on this, as the speaker is underneath the keyboard here. It's powered by Dolby Atmos. It is hands down the best speaker setup I've ever heard on a laptop. And I'm not even saying it's good for a laptop. It's good, like legit good sound. Now, if you're gonna be using this laptop for your work calls, you might be wondering what you're gonna look and sound like. Well, you're seeing it right now. This is being recorded with the built-in webcam on this Lenovo laptop, and it's a 1080p webcam, which is nice to see. I'm sick of seeing 720p webcams on laptops. Also, the audio that you're listening to is just recorded straight into the microphone. I'm recording on Windows camera, so there is no post-production being done to the video or the audio. I'm not using any fancy lighting. I've got a big window right here, which lights you up nice. I do feel like they have a little bit of a wider lens on this, which is nice to see. And you can see if I'm in front of the window or on the side, the picture's gonna go downhill. But when you line yourself up nice with some lighting, the picture looks a lot better. So this just gives you an idea of what you will look and sound like on your work calls with this laptop if you don't want to plug in any extra webcams or microphones. And just for fun, I decided to get the M2 MacBook Air out and record a video using Photo Booth, which is their equivalent of Windows Photos. And they also use a 1080p webcam. You can see the picture also looks good, but I figured I'd just do this, so you have something to compare to, both with the microphone quality as well as the video quality. Oh, and another thing to note about this webcam is that it does have a built-in privacy slider at the top. Now, while these are simply my first impressions of using this laptop, in my opinion, it's a solid contender to the MacBook lineup for a travel-friendly Windows-based laptop to get crap done. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or maybe if you've tried this laptop in the past. But if you want to check out this exact model that I have been testing, I've got a link to that in the description. Enjoy.